2.5 centuries ago, Benjamin Franklin wasn't the name of a broad parkway you could walk down from Love Park to this great gathering in the city of brotherly love. Benjamin Franklin was a living, breathing human being in a city of 40,000 people, the largest city in the American colonies at the time. By 1777, there were as many as 14,000 British troops occupying Philadelphia, more than a third of the population of the city, because everyday people had linked up with everyday people in other colonies to declare their independence from tyrannical rule. 2.5 centuries later, a would-be king has ordered U.S. troops to occupy Los Angeles and to parade down the streets of Washington, D.C., to parade like the North Korean forces of Kim Jong-un. But we are here to say, no, that is not who we are. We are gathered in Philadelphia and in 2,000 cities and towns across America today. We are everyday people of every race, creed, and community and political affiliation, uniting in the great nonviolent tradition of those who came before us to demonstrate a better way, a way we have learned through this nation's painful struggles. The struggles that have taught us that we either go forward together or backwards divided. We are not a people who bow and give total allegiance to any ruler or policy, because bowing is not freedom and bowing is not in our spiritual DNA. We cannot be who we were made to be unless we are free. We are not a people who give loyalty to a king. No, we, the people of the United States of America, are at our best when we are striving to be united by our commitment to liberty and justice for all. Now, we must be honest. America has never been all that she aspires to be. But every stride toward freedom, every step toward a more perfect union has been grounded in this commitment to freedom, liberty, and justice for all. Declaring that we are created equal and endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Writing in our Constitution, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Already that is a confession of our imperfection. We want to establish justice, to provide for the common defense, ensure domestic tranquility, and promote the general welfare. These are the principles that have always reminded us, pulled us, challenged us in the deepest recesses of our moral consciousness, that we who believe in freedom cannot rest. And in the face of any challenge that would have us bow and accept something less, we say no. Truth is, these are not liberal or conservative commitments. They are moral values that can unite us and connect us to the best of who we are and keep us from ever bowing to a wannabe king. So today, we demonstrate with amazing clarity and speak the truth with strength. And the truth is, Donald Trump's regime is not illegally deploying American troops on U.S. soils because he's strong. He's abusing his authority as commander-in-chief, trying to pick a fight on America's streets because his agenda is incredibly unpopular. His political positions and his claims are weak and failing and contrary to our moral values. The truth is, you are the strength of America. He said he could end conflicts in other parts of the world with a phone call, but wars of aggression rage on. He said he could unite us. We're more divided. He said he was going to stand up for working people, but he handed the government over to a billionaire before their big bad breakup. He said he'd bring prices down, but his wild talk about tariffs has created economic uncertainty. He said he could deal with Gaza and deal with Ukraine, and things have gotten worse. He said his budget was big and beautiful, but the truth is it's big and greedy and ugly and destructive and deadly to the most vulnerable. Ezra joined us last week as we've been gathering for Moral Mondays in D.C. since this big ugly budget bill has been before Congress. They have arrested us, but they've not stopped our prayers or our prophetic critique to arrest the consciousness of America. Americans are learning the details of how this big, ugly, deadly, bad bill would kill tens of thousands of people in our communities by stripping health insurance from 15 million Americans, closing hospitals, slashing nutrition assistance programs, leaving millions of hungry children, cutting thousands of jobs supported by green energy crisis. And according to a report from the public health scholars at Yale and the University of Pennsylvania, the cuts to health care alone would kill 51,000 Americans next year. And the more people learn about its details, the less popular Trump's signature legislation becomes law, and his attempt to move more money from the poor and working poor to the wealthy than was transferred during chattel slavery. And because of this, you cannot be silent, and the cries of the people will not be silenced. That is why this regime is in panic, and when an authoritarian is weak, he will do anything to get attention. But we don't have to give Trump and MAGA what they want. We don't have to bow by waving a flag at his parade. Our demonstration of moral strength is in opposition to the tyranny that threatens our very existence as a country. And this kind of gathering can unite us in a moral movement to save America. And we will not stand down, not now, not ever. Because the truth is, when it comes to the need to stand up for the Constitution over a ruler who would ignore the courts, we are indivisible. When it comes to the need to repair breaches between those who have health care and those who don't, we are indivisible. When it comes to the conviction that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, we are indivisible. When it comes to our commitment that no child should go hungry in this, the richest nation in the world, we are indivisible. And when it comes to the essential role of government to serve the people rather than to serve a king, we are indivisible. Now, might I close as a preacher? In the book of Daniel in the Bible, there's an ancient story where three young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were thrown into a fiery furnace for their refusal to bow. They refused to bow to a king that loved to put his name on buildings and ride around and make everybody bow to him. Well, they were thrown in, and they were not consumed, however, by the flames of the furnace. Instead, as they were thrown in, the people witnessed a fourth force come in and walk them through the fire. My fellow Americans, I stopped by this afternoon to remind you that when we tap into our moral power and refuse to bow, there is a greater power in the universe that will come and stand with us. In the final years of the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa, they used to say, only a dying mule kicks the hardest. So we must maintain discipline, refuse to meet violence with violence, and keep our focus on an agenda that lifts us all to higher ground. We must join hands across all the lines that have been drawn to divide us and stand together as we the people. And when we do, I know a force more powerful than any of our individual actions will come and stand with us in the fire. That's what the best of American history has taught us. I stopped by to tell you and remind you today that the force of truth, the force of love, the force of justice, and the force of equality is more powerful than any would-be king. More powerful than brute force, more powerful than mean money, more powerful than big tech feudalism, more powerful than anything we know. When we stand up and when we stand together and when we refuse to bow, we can build a movement to save the heart and soul of America. Are you standing? When the founders refused to bow to King George, a fourth force stood with them. When the slave abolitionists right here in Philadelphia, black and white, refused to bow to the king-like rule of chattel slavery and slave masters, a fourth force stood with them. When women, black and white, refused to bow to those who didn't want them to vote, a fourth force stood with them. When segregationists and Jim Crow politicians' lips dripped with the words of interposition and nullification, people like Rosa Parks and Viola LaRussa and Fannie Lou and Martin and Rabbi Heschel, men and women of every birth, refused to bow, and a fourth force stood with them. And I tell you, the force of truth and the force of love and the force of equality and the force of justice is more powerful than any would-be king named Trump or MAGA or anything. And so it's time. It's time for us to stand together like never before, because when we all get together, we have the power to reconstruct American democracy. Did you know that if just 20% of us, if we organize 20% of the non-voters in the last election, especially poor and low-wage voters who couldn't see how casting a ballot could make a difference in their lives, if we can organize them, we can upend the whole political calculus. If we go to every state, not just the so-called swing state, but every state, and if we win back some of our confused friends, we can upend the whole political calculus. If we refuse to bow and stand up for policies that make life better for every American, if we come together just one more round in history to fight for the heart and soul of this democracy, I declare unto you that when the work is done, when we finish organizing, when we've done praying and preaching, when we finish marching, when we finish registering voters, when we finish our nonviolent action, I guarantee you truth will win, justice will win, equality will win, justice will win. And on that day, we will truly be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Stand, 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 stand. Hallelujah.